what we do first. Now, you reach a point doing this method.
That's the levels, huh?
Yeah, you're just using this, but you can't go any faster.
Yeah, he's gonna.
You know. So there's another level of actually that's when we start adding our arms into it. Now two things happen when you add the arm. Makes the accents a lot easier. Why? Well, the formula I gave for Newton's energy was mass times acceleration, and we talked about acceleration creating speed, power, right? There's also another part of the equation is mass. So if I add my arms, I'm adding mass,
Right.
which immediately increases the energy. On top of that, we're just talking about an accent down. So our acceleration ability is only 18 inches from here. If I had to start from here and pick it up and throw it down, I have a lot more. I have an extra 8 inches of acceleration. But I'm lifting the stick up. I don't want to do that. However, if I can learn to whip my mass, and the momentum of my whip pulls it up and down for me. So I'm getting two things here. I'm getting an increase in acceleration, and I'm getting an increase in mass, which makes it a lot easier to play a louder accent than normal. Follow that?
I got it.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to add to that.
You're going to get to it?
I'm going to add to it. It's finished.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, what's a good point here is, what is molar? That's what I would like to talk about.
Well, I'll demonstrate that too.
Right.
Sure.
And the difference between what we're talking about, the mass, like, you know, you're going to lift it up and you have this much more mass and power. I mean, some guys just take it to the extreme and bring it down like this.
Right.
To me, you know, if somebody's playing accents,
Well, that
like
works
this,
because they're adding more acceleration.
Yeah, but it works, but it's totally ridiculous.
But you can't use it because it takes too much time.
Not only that, you're going to fly away.
Yeah,
that's what Joe said.
Yeah.
A whole lot of crazy. Yeah, that's. I understand. I hear you.
However,
Yeah.
you bring me into a good point.
Yeah.
So the way they teach molar is remember I said that we have 8 inches more of acceleration because we have the up and the down going.
Right.
Right? But it has to be in one motion. It's one
Indeed.
motion. Otherwise, it's not going to accelerate.
Right.
You don't have time.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They're teaching 3 motions.
Okay. Yes.
Tap, up, down.
Right.
That's a waste of time.
That's the way, and that's not what's happening.
Right.
Okay? And they practice it slowly. You want to see how I would do it?
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
That's the correct word.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
And that's,
Each
I did
accent
that.
is one motion.
Right.
You don't
I
break it
agree.
down to 3.
I don't do the 3.
We break this down to 3 first to get you used to going up and down in preparation.
Right.
And now the preparation doesn't happen in an upstroke anymore. It happens in the whip. The whip is the
Yes.
preparation. The whip starts back here,
Yes. Yeah.
which is the prep.
Right. You're right.
Right? And so the way they're teaching molar, yes, it works, but they're teaching it incorrectly. The
Now,
concept is wrong.
Can we just demonstrate that a little slower for the people who are going to view this video? You know what the one motion
Go
is
ahead.
as opposed to 3 motions.
Right.
You know, you're if I'm just getting a mediocre accent, but look, I don't know if they can see this from. I'm pulling out in one motion.
Right. There you go. I hear that.
I'm not doing 3 different things at one time to obtain that.
Right.
This is what is out there, which is totally incorrect.
Right. Here's
Now I want to take it even further.
I say this. I mean, for me, right, which is similar to I don't know what in my head, but I'm not doing all of that extra. Yeah. Extra motion.
It's a pumping
either.
motion.
I'm just. This is one move.
Actually, the elbow's
Excellent.
coming in.
Excellent.
You know,
Excellent.
Yeah.
See, the elbow is coming in before the hand.
Yeah.
Right.
That's giving it to you.
And sometimes my elbow movement. Well, I guess
I
it's
like
still
this
there.
one.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Sometimes with my elbow movement, I don't like. In other words, this right coming from the shoulder, right? But, you know, but sometimes I don't do that. I just throw right in here.
Well, that's a forearm.
That's it.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough time when you're playing a gig. I don't. To go through
Nobody
all of
does.
this.
Nobody does.
You know.
You know that video they posted the drummer on the wrong gig?
Oh,
Yeah.
He just made a spoof at this whole thing.
Right.
And people were like, well, that guy can play his ass.
Oh, he can play. Okay,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is a
that's
funny
But the
video.
other thing they're
though,
saying
man.
too is that you don't use your arm. You don't use your arms when you
Right.
go. You use your wrists. What, are you kidding me? Why?
Right.
I'm using my arms down here. I'm using a combination of my arms, my fingers, and my wrists. And also, I'm not bouncing.
Right.
I'm.
You're going with the flow of the stick.
This is a regular stroke.
Right.
Just adding the arm to the stroke that's existing. So I'm taking responsibility for every stroke.
Right.
One more
When I
point.
did this as a kid, or this,
That I love.
I did it right in here.
Yeah.
Naturally, nobody told me. I just figured, I don't know what, I was just goofing around. And that still works best for me
Yeah, but if you want to play loud,
because,
That's where the bumping motion comes in.
yeah, I just,
You see, now what you just demonstrated was the arm, the wrist, and the finger.
the whole thing, yeah.
Now, that's something that they should also know, that everything does come from
everything's
the wrist.
working.
Everything
Right.
comes from the wrist, though. The arms.
Well, let me get into that when we talk about the forearm.
All right.
exit.
Well, here's one question
Right?
I have. Let me ask you guys both this, because this is something I don't do, and a lot of guys do. When they say the molar thing, I'm going to play really slow because I can't do that. How do they get it's coming from here? A lot of
Okay, all right.
a lot of people
Let me-
talk about.
okay. I'll explain it to you.
That doesn't.
Your arm. This is called a instead
lever,
of level,
the lever,
we call it
the lever.
levers.
The levers or
The
levers.
lever system. So you're physically you have 3 points. You have 3 levers. Your wrist moves. That's one pivot
All
point.
right.
Your arm moves. Your forearm moves. That's another pivot
All
point.
right.
Right, and your shoulder has a pivot point.
Oh, so this is what they mean
That's
by
the
that.
pivot point of the shoulder,
okay,
and this is the
okay.
pivot point of
I
the.
see.
And they all have to work
So
together.
you go from one to pivot to the other, right through the pivots.
And it has to work together. One of them is at a sync.
One-
Ain't gonna
Right.
happen.
This
Right,
generates the momentum here. This generates the momentum here, and this generates the momentum here.
Right. Okay. Because I'm thinking when I'm doing this, and I'm trying to find that shoulder motion. I'm putting it on. I'm doing some. I don't do this when I play, but oh my
I know who does
shoulder. What the hell does that mean? You know what I mean? I'm fine. I went to.
No names, please.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And-
one,
and,
so,
uh,
so this is this pivot. This is one pivot motion. This is another pivot motion. This is another. So you got to get this fluid,
This whole
So
animal.
one
working
goes
as
into
one
the
guy.
and you're working in different directions.
Once
Well,
you
maybe
find
that's maybe when they're saying all of this, they're trying to make that point that you just made now that the entire system has
it's
to.
not gonna come together like that.
Yeah, not if you're
That's it.
doing
That's too much of an
all. I don't know whether.
So you have to get into one flow.
That feels pretty comfortable to me.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not struggling with
you're
this. I'm
doing
not going
fine.
that fast,
You're
but
using your 3 pivots. Your
It's a-
shoulder pivot, your elbow pivot,
I
and
see.
your wrist pivot.
I didn't realize
And
that.
they're working together.
And they're working together in a sequence so that the momentum continues
Now
to
see
build.
right here.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, I'm completely relaxed. There's nothing.
Beautiful, man.
There's no part of me that's working. You
Man.
know, it's not that fast, but
You're
it
gonna be
feels. It
monstrous.
feels.
If you get this stick and relaxers and rebound shit together, you're gonna be a monster.
Yeah, but you gotta do it.
You're already a monster.
Yeah, no, I'd
You're
have
gonna-
to. I'd have to come down, which I don't mind doing. It's fun. It's relaxing.
I got 2 nicknames for you guys. You Monster Mike, and you Dr. Hands.
All right. So let's move on. This
All
is
right.
this is good only for a single act. Oh, that's the other thing is that molar, whatever they want to call it, is really only a single accent.
Right. There's one throw.
One accent.
There's one big.
So how do you do 2 in a row?
2 molar strokes. Man.
Is it this? Huh? So if I want to play, do I have to go? Is that how I'm gonna do it? You like that demonstration?
I was thought you were gonna start dancing.
Very nice.
Alright, so there must be something else involved. Okay, so there is. Now this is a combination of what we did before with the full stroke and the
Alright.
levels.
All right.
So you can do a control down, or you
Okay.
can do a
All right.
free down. Now I'm ready for another accent. So if I want to do two in a row, the first one is whip, the second one is wrist.
Okay. Again, please.
So it was like here, I would go up and then full down, up and full down. Now I don't have to do the up. The up is already taken care of in my in my lever. So it's up, down, up, and down. I can do three in a row that way, or four, as many as I want. Once I'm up here, I'm accenting. Right?
Yeah, but you know that's the action. It's not for the speed because the distance is too far. And what you're doing is absolutely correct.
Well, you could do it lower if you want. I'm just showing it high.
I know. I mean, you could then the in between strokes have to be like, there you go.
Well, this is another accent and rebound. He does this in accent and rebound. What if your pattern has two in a row? Great. When the singles, you can use that whip. What if you're doing doubles? All right, that works too. Right?
Master.
But what happens? That happens after this point.
Yeah.
Don't push me. So now, when you get to the fours,
All right.
right? Now, what happens when you do it on one hand?
Let me see the right hand again when you do that. All right, do me a favor. Explain to me this again. Now you got the free stroke.
I got him.
You
got the free. I'm using a free stroke on my.
Right.
So I'm now in position for the second accent.
Right.
And then if I want to play soft, I got to go do a control down again.
So what are the amount of strokes that one needs to know to put this together? You have to have the free stroke down, right?
You need a free stroke. You need a control. You need a control stroke
That's
down.
a down stroke.
And you need a whip stroke. And then there's a forearm stroke that I'm really doing. You're not seeing it, but I'm using an arm shot as well. Now this is where I'm going to show you what you want to see about the pivoting. So I first learned it, and I can do it with my wrist, but I can also throw an arm stroke. I'm adding the mass to the full stroke. I'm adding my forearm. I'm not gripping the stick any harder. However, I am not losing this. So this motion is being added to.
Okay.
So I'm using the up and down of this and the turn of my wrist.
Okay.
That's the arm stroke.
That's the arm stroke. And you can see this. See me going in and out here? Because I'm using the pivot of I'm using this pivot, not the shoulder. Shoulder pivot is what creates the whip. And what happens is that this motion is reversed. It's inverted. When you're doing whip, it's out to in. When you're doing arm, it's in to out.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
It's a lot to absorb. You know what? I have like I'm going to show you that book.
Well, we're giving you complete.
Yeah, I'm
You
going to.
know, I'm digging it. I'm like,
I have a few videos out there on YouTube that demonstrate this is the full stroke, this is the down stroke, this is the tap. Now, as far as the arm stroke, he's doing the in and out and the whip. I haven't done yet.
Right.
He has. So they're out there on YouTube.
I've seen your videos on that, but I need to look at them again so I can really break it down and I know what I'm.
This is check this one out.